Good morning. It's April the 6th, 2016. Time to kick off another trading day. Equities were mixed overnight, up a little. A couple of markets were down a little bit. In Asia, only Hong Kong was up. In Europe, the DAX was down. So we had three of the major markets off and three of the major markets up. So that's about 50-50, and none of them by much. So not a lot of news to drive the trading overnight. The strength in the stock market was attributed to crude oil. There are stories anew that OPEC is going to be able to get a deal in April and cut production. I'm not saying they can't do it, but it would be totally out of character with the players. When the bottom falls out of the price of crude oil, and I've experienced this 3 times now in this industry, they fight for market share, and they don't give a damn what the price of crude oil is as long as they maintain their 24% or 13% or whatever it happens to be. They made a big deal about the announcement in January that OPEC has agreed to new production limits. Well, January production was higher. It was the highest production OPEC had ever done, and it was pretty easy to agree to that agreement. Iran did not agree to that. February and March liftings by OPEC members exceeded January. So lip service talk, yes, we're going to get a deal. Rhetoric kind of fall by the wayside. It's cheaper than cutting the production of oil. Several banks have come out and said we're going to revisit the current lows in crude. And usually you don't put in a major top or bottom without a retest of those lows, and that retest usually takes 45-60 days if it happens. So right now the focus today will be the direction of crude oil, and the crude oil market is higher. That's taken the ES higher. ES stopped at 2050, so I think that's going to be a pretty big barrier to get through, but that's the number. If we can ES can stay below 2050, it can still sell. Strength in the E-mini has taken treasuries lower. They were lower from the get-go. You can see that. You have to wonder when you come in and look at a market. First, you got the dynamics of the close, maybe short covering contributed. But here we have a P. Everything is pointed higher, and then we have a selling tail right there, right as Globex opens. So what do they know that we don't know? What did they know that allowed them to take the market up? What do they know now that takes the market down? Always been one of those issues. I mean, how do they know, and what are they keying off of? So Globex sells and treasuries got a pretty good resistance at 26.5, 25, 24.5, 24, 23.5, 23. So here we sit. Support. When you take a look at the market, the low volume number is 18.5. So 21 is a little dent in the volume all the way down. So this is our low volume area, 21 to 18.5, and this is where support should begin. So I got support at 16 to 20. Because we're dealing with Bs and because crude is pointed higher, we'll try to buy it a little bit on the cheap. 17 to 31, 13, excuse me, by 1. 5 to 9 by 2. On the sell side, it's 23 to 27. Obviously, I'd like to, limit sell at 26. Structurally, would be where you place the order. Sell 1. When 31 to 03, sell 2. Okay, the news we have today. We have Gallup Job Creation Index. Last month it was 29. Don't know what the forecast is for today. No one will pay any attention to it. Crude. We have our standard plus 3.1 million barrels. When you look at statistics and you look at the services and the rest, where the hell does the 0.1 come from? The 3. Okay, well, we'll swag it at 3. 3.1, 3.1567. I'm always amazed at how they get it down to the decimal point. Biggest news out today, FOMC minutes from March, and they're probably going to be accommodative. They're going to probably point to weakness in the global economy and how that could impact our strength of the dollar, hurting our exports. And that is taking an effect. It's hurting the multinationals. So right now, kind of a trading range, not a lot going on. The 23 sell is pretty damn aggressive. It might be that. 26 structurally is where you'd put it. And if the E-mini rallies today, I imagine treasuries will be a little bit lower. Okay, the knob spread came in last night. We went out at 35.14. We're 34.31 as I speak, reflecting weakness. And this, if you don't want a new spike or a surprise to knock you out of your position, trading the knob spread is a good way to go. They'll both move directionally with the news, but you can say interest rates higher, interest rates lower through the knob spread, and gets a lot of play. Probably 3/4 of the large institution, those that'll trade futures institutionally, is done in the knob spread. So lots of volume right there. Okay, 26, 28, 66.01, all resistance. So our first little band of resistance is going to be 25 to 28. So we'll make sell 1, 66 to 03, 31 to 03, then 11 to 15. And this will be number 1. This is an area that could hold. On the support side, we have this breakout from 16 to 20, so 16 to 20 will be 1, so we'll make 9 to 13 by 1. And then 1 to 5 by 2. I don't think we're going to break the market today. Okay, now the number 1 levels, if we come up here and we can't get through 28, the sell is still on. That's resistance, and that means the selling will continue. If we come down and we can't crack the breakout from 16 to 20, the longer term time frame buying is still there. So this our number 1 levels, and remember hierarchy 1, 2, 3, 1, and it happened yesterday. Number 1 held and the market came up, and it did make it to number 2. So if number 1 holds, should get to our number 2 level before a sell sets up to develop. And these number 1 levels, if they do hold, that's continuation. And then our number 2 and 3 levels are business as usual, a little higher, a little lower, but basically moving sideways. Okay, gold's off a little bit in the overnight session. Reflecting the strength in crude and the stock market. Risk off investments are out of favor as risk on kicks in. So we're back to our 15 to 17. Got an attractor at 19 right here, so 15 to 17 will be buy 1, 10 to 12 buy 2, on the sell side the spill was from 25, so 24, 26 sell 1. The E-mini sells today. We don't want any part of the short side of gold, and 29 to 31 sell 2. Looking at the euro. Do like the short side of the market better because that's what the central bank wants. So we're at 1350 is buy one. Orderly market, orderly selling. We got a very clean break in the market. Let's see. Looks like at 1330, so we'll make 1325 buy two. Let them go get stops below a round number. 75 sell one, and then the buck sell two. We'll play the quarter game. Okay, how strong is crude oil and how far can it snap back? Good questions. Okay, just structurally when we come up here, the low volume number is 37.34 on our price scale. Got this high right here at 37.25. We've got this low at 37.60. Got the new selling that broke the market and took it lower, started at 38.30. Well, it looks like about 37.30 is a pretty clean break in the market, so definitely a P, definitely trying to trade higher, so we'll make 25 to 50, sell one. 75 to the buck, sell two. On the buy side, 25 to 50. And then 75 to the buck. Even though OPEC cannot get a deal, when they pick up the mic and speak, the first thing a trader does when he sees the headline is he buys it or exits a position that's against that particular piece of news, or buttons it up, hedges his position, and then they figure out what they have. And that's why you get these news spikes, and you get the and the higher it goes, the more people that are forced to move. And we sit back and say, well, this can't be such a baloney piece of news, but you've got the headline to deal with, and that's the dynamic that makes the market run like that, even though it's against logic and common sense. Just by virtue of the fact that there's a headline there, the market will do that. And you put yourself in that situation as a trader. It's pretty easy for you to see too. You get a market really just moving with a lot of velocity against your particular positions. If you have a protective stop out there, you're out. You're fueling the buying. If you don't have a protective stop, you get out. You add your position. You button it up by going with the move. And so that's what we have to be cognizant of as traders. Okay, looking at the E-mini. Couldn't get above 50. That's a clue. Looking at the lows, they just leaned against. This is, lower highs yield lower prices. And so right here at 44, we have our first little band of resistance. So 50, 45, 50, 47, and 50. So this 45, 47 area is going to be sell one. Then we have the Asian high over at 53. So then 50 to the Asian high. 54 will be sell two, basically leaning against 55. On the buy side, we finally got down to 35 yesterday, so 35, 38, buy one. Then buy two will be 25 to 30. Given the lack of volatility, we might be changing our nickel ranges here. We're going to try it and see if that works. Really tough trading the E-mini, other than saying this is the high, this is the low, and leaning against it and getting in. Given the lack of intraday volatility and chop. Okay, the Gallup Job Creation Index last month was 29. Crude oil plus 3.1. FOMC minutes, where they really expect dovish comments and statements out of that. And I'm sure that's probably what we'll get. I'm going to take a bit to get everything up and posted. I'm going to get busy on that. I will be with you as soon as possible.